Hello and welcome to Vlogmas 2021 for December 24th, Christmas Eve. I'm Michael Powell. I've had several messages over the last month or so asking me if I was able to make the temperature and the date change automatically in this, I call it my bottom clock. And the short answer is no. No. Each time before I use that item, I have to go in and make the changes myself. I decided maybe I ought to show you how I make it and how easy it is to make the changes once it's made. I'm going to go into a new screen and into the demo mode so that you're able to see what I'm doing. Now over here, oops, don't want to do that. Over here is the overlays panel. And that's what I'm going to use to make this. Down here at the bottom, the little text overlay. First, we're going to make the bottom bars. All right, I go into the text overlay, and right now it says text, but so that I can know what I'm making and where it is, I label them. So I'm going to label this bottom. Right there, bottom. And you can use any font you want. I choose to use, for this, I use the Gibson font, and I make it bold, and I set the size to 22. There we go. Now I don't want that bottom word to show. So I'm going to highlight it, come over here to the opacity, and I'm going to take the opacity down to 0. So now you see it doesn't show. It's there, but it doesn't show. But I want to make the background. So I'm going to choose background, highlight it, and make it red. I put it in the center just because, I don't know, it's what I do. Now I'm going to hit the add button and add it to my scene. Okay, I'm going to move this down to the very edge of my scene, right here at the edge, and I'm going to stretch it the entire width of the scene, edge to edge. Okay, I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger. There we go. All right, now I want to lock that. So I'm going to click the little lock icon and lock that bar so that it doesn't move on me. Now I'm going to do the same thing to make the green bar. I'm going to go back into the text overlay. I don't have to worry about resetting it because it remembers what the last setting was, but I am going to change the color to green and put it in the middle and add it to my scene. Now I have to make this a little bigger to work with. All right, again, I'm going to put it right over here at the edge, and I'm going to stretch it the entire width of the scene. Now, I've had a lot of problem in the past trying to get this exactly right by dragging this up and down, and when I do, it changes the size of it, and you have to play with it a lot. So what I found the easiest thing for me to do, stretch it back out to the width, is I come over here. Oh, right now it says text. I forgot to label that to top. Labeling is important so that you always know what you're working with. But anyway, if I come over here and I take the top one and I put it underneath the bottom. Now I can move this and make it whatever size I want behind the red one. I don't have to play with all the, making it smaller and moving it and stretching it out and whatnot. All right, I also want to lock at the top bar. I don't want those two to move while I continue working. Again, back into the text overlay. All right, now I don't need a background, and I want the text to show, so I'm going to come over here to the opacity and raise it up, but I don't want it to say text. I want it to have the date. Okay, I'm going to choose the Gibson font, semi-bold, and 35. Okay. So I'm going to highlight the text. I use a little nifty program called Text Expander, which allows me to type, 3 or 4 characters and have it insert whatever I have set for those 3 or 4 characters. In this case, for the text one, I use D, comma, comma, and you'll notice it automatically put Friday, December 24th, 2021, and I'll add that to my scene. You notice the little blue rectangle that appears. I use that to help me line it up. Okay, now this is not one that I would normally lock because I want to change it every day. And if I lock it, then I have to remember to go in and unlock it and then change it and lock it back. I just leave it unlocked. It's not going to hurt anything. Now, the clock is easy. You come over here to this countdown overlay, click on that, and I don't want a countdown, but I'm going to choose clock from the menu. Okay, again, Gibson semi-bold 35, keeping it the same size as the rest of it. And I'll add that to my scene. Now, searching for that little blue rectangle again. I can set it right there, and I'm done. Now the clock, I can lock because I don't physically change that every day. It's picking up the computer time, my local time. All right, now for the temperatures. We're going to go back into the text overlay, and I want it to show the temperature. And I like it to show whether it's raining, snowing, whatever. Coffee's good. Any rate, so if I come down to this little emoji, show emoji panel, you'll notice that there are numerous things that I can put in. You're familiar with emojis. I can put any one of these in there. But I happen to know that today is very sunny. So I'm going to click sun, and it's in there. And I happen to know that the temperature is 66 degrees. But 66 degrees what? Well, back to the little emoji. And there is an emoji for centigrade and Fahrenheit. Well, obviously, I'm in the United States. I use Fahrenheit. I click on that one, and it adds it in, and I add it to the scene. Okay, bring it down. And I don't know, that looks good. Again, the temperatures are something I don't lock. You can lock them if you want, but you're going to have to unlock them to change it. And now we're going to do the same thing for the temperature in Fahrenheit. In centigrade. I happen to know that 66 degrees Fahrenheit is equal to about 19 degrees centigrade. I remember that it's sunny. 19 degrees. Again, back to the emoji and do centigrade or Celsius or whatever. I don't know why that. Let's see. Gibson. Semi-bold. 35. There we go. And again, I'm looking for my little, there it is. Try to get them look about even. And lastly, back to the text overlay and back to the emoji panel. And like I said, you can use any of these. I have always used the coffee cup because coffee is something that keeps me going, much like Alec Johnson from Take One Tech. Coffee is one of my mainstays, whether I'm doing this or anything else. I'm big in that a little bit, as Doc Rock would say. And there you go. Now, all of these need to be turned on for this bar to show. And obviously, there's no way I could turn all of them on individually fast enough to make it presentable. The simple way is to come down here to the new group and add a folder. And I'm just going to call this BOT. Oops. As soon as I learn to spell. Bottom clock. So I've made a folder and I call it bottom clock. Now I'm going to take all of these and I'm going to put them inside the folder. So that when I close the folder, they're inside. Now, all I have to do is click this little eyeball next to bottom clock to turn it on and off. Now, that's set up and ready to go. I have the things locked that I want locked. But when the next day comes, all I have to do is, like, tomorrow would be Saturday, and obviously this isn't going to say Saturday because it's set to put the current date. Just go in and highlight the date, do my little text expander deal, and come back in, and it would say whatever it was for that day. Same thing with the temperatures. You can do a lot of different things with this text overlay panel. Building blocks run by Anna and Fulgens show you how to build a lot of different things. One of the things they showed me how to build was get that CNN look. So I have this, and in this one, yes, I would have to change the date. Yes, I have to change the temperature, but I haven't used it much, but it was a way of learning, so I built that. Any rate, that's really all there is to it. And the only things you have to do once you've got it built, put it in the folder, make sure that the items that aren't going to change are locked, and then just double click on the things that you need to change and change them. You could put anything down there. It didn't have to be time and temperature, obviously, but I thought it was kind of a neat item. The reason I put centigrade is that so many of the people that use Ecamm and our followers don't live in the United States, so their temperature is in centigrade. And if they're not used to converting, this way they don't have to. I do the conversion for them and put it up. So, for Christmas Eve, I'm Michael Powell, wishing you and all of your family a happy, merry, joyous Christmas. Bye for now. Okay, that was fairly easy. What's next?